This is a quilt my 8-year-old son designed. We worked on it together, and I've used it to make a set of 4 gift cards in order to commemorate it. So, love how we can be inspired by all kinds of things. I'm going to tell you the story about it in a moment, but I wanted to start with showing you the quilt blocks. He named them, and then I embroidered them right on here. To Santa, and here is the card to go with that. So the same ideas, and then we have, and this one's my favorite, Fish Out of the Sea. And here's the card. Next we have zigzaggers. I just did half of the blocks just to give an idea, because I think this will be a fun set of cards to give him. And the whole idea is we find inspiration everywhere, and I'm going to be showing you a really fun way to make find some easy designs for yourself. Skinny marink, checkers, flying hat, and here's the flying hat. You see the hat in there? And then moving fan and something about an arrow. Let me see. Shooting arrows. Okay, so we're going to do that, but I'm going to tell you the story. We'll put that down. Look at the cards here, because it kind of makes sense on here. So these are some journal entries from back when I was homeschooling him. This was my oldest child, so I'd love to say I did this with all 5 of my kids, but you know how that goes. February 3rd, we read Sam Johnson and the Blue Ribbon Quilt. Have you read that? It's an awesome book, and it was about this man that was a quilter. So we talked about how designs are made on graph paper. Back in the day, I don't know if you still could get it, but we had this, it was like cheap manila paper with larger squares. We use that all the time for math and things like that. I don't happen to have any on me, but that's what we used. And so we blocked out 9 blocks, and then I had him design each block, and they could be full squares or half. So those are the only 2 choices, and we just talked about how you can make designs and patterns just out of that. He named them all, and then next we measured his bed, planned out how much fabric we needed, and then he selected what he wanted from mine. Then we went to the store. Back in the day, they had always at the fabric stores, I think things have changed, but there's a big sale table of inexpensive cotton fabrics. He picked out fish and mushrooms. Those were his favorite things. And then I showed him how to enlarge the patterns. He'd done them on a small square, and then we enlarged them so that they would be these large fabric squares. And then I cut out the shapes, but I had him arrange them. And one of my funny stories that I totally fits card stories is that he wasn't happy with his hat pattern at first. He says, it wasn't like my mind saw it. So I just showed him how to keep rearranging things, change your fabric, do anything you want till it becomes pleasing. And I said, that's just part of the process of designing. Once it was changed, then he liked it. So the thing that's really fun about this is you can do the same thing in making your cards, and you can do the same thing with kids in designing, whether you're doing quilts or cards. Cards are like a smaller version of a quilt that you just get done really quickly. So we are going to start working on this. And then when these were all done, I'm using the paper from the Artistry Blooms. So I just cut out a bunch of 1 1/4 inch squares to make this size card. And you see these are all 9 blocks, 3, 3, and 3. And then I just took all the colors in the paper, put them out. So when I was backing them, which is just kind of a fun thing at the end, because if you notice, I wanted them all different. They're on a theme, but they're a series of different colors that come from the paper. So then when I assemble these, I just like to use printer paper, so it's just really light. And so first you have your design done, or you can just lay it out on this, so it's just kind of done like this. Then I like to start with the center square, but you can see how we have the fish here, the little tiny eye, a little bit of land because he's jumping out of the water. So it's, that's the story. I don't even know, I'm sure some of these are quilt patterns, but the thing that's really fun is we weren't using any quilt patterns. He was just designing from scratch. And I think that is just kind of the fun of seeing that we can all do this. So I'm going to encourage you to take out some squares, and then I'm just hand cutting them like this. Okay, and I'm going to build. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to do it this way because this does have a grain to it, and I want it to be kind of going, well, we'll see if I can do this on camera, but you guys know what I mean. Okay, so I'm building the fish. So do you see that's going to be a square right there? And I could also just leave this as a square. No, I can't. That would be sideways. Yeah, I could do that, but we're going to make it simpler. We're doing it just like a quilt, and this could all be quilted. Of course, you can add stitching lines and do other things too. Okay, because it's going to go... Look at me trying to do this backwards. Okay, I need some green to work straight across. Trying to do it upside down and kind of, visually I'm thinking fish. I got to make the fish. No, but I need to do this. I need to use my pattern. So it goes across like that. And I will cut another one here because I want them to go... this is kind of sideways, otherwise it wouldn't really matter. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm putting in my fish. And putting in my fish. Okay, so there is my center. Now I'm going to come up here, and you can see I'm going to put that right there. Okay, I'm done with those. And let's see, I'm going to do one of these there, one of these here. Cut another one, because we'll have another one going right here. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle. So it might be easier to draw it first, I don't know, and do it, or it might be easier just to lay things out and kind of create whatever. And let's see how this goes. If I cut these on the right parts. Okay, so if I did this, I really didn't, did I? If I make them go that way, that way, that way, and this way. Okay, we now have my fish. And this could be pretty on a card just like this. You wouldn't even need, we're going for the squares. So I need to add one more, but you could create anything that you wanted. And then on the bottom row, oh, I guess I wanted this. See, if you notice on these lines, I didn't really, well, you know what? I'm not going to care. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to just say none of this matters right now because I'm on camera, but you could cut your things in a way if it does matter to you. You can easily go back and just fix the few. But I just think this makes such a fun look. And then let's see, we need more of these in here. We have this one, and we need one more of this. Okay, so here is my fish, and then it's a little tiny square for the eyes. Now, when I assemble this, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I was just going to point out, I start with, so now I just move these apart a little, and I start with the middle, just because it's easier. There are mistakes in quilting, at least unless you're a really good quilter. There were plenty of mistakes when I was a quilter. And sometimes you should kind of fit those pieces in at the end. So I just think it's easier to work inside out. And then we just go from there. So I'm just going to go like that and build the whole card. That is all there is to this. So I'm going to encourage you to just take out some squares. Now these are 1 1/4, like I said. Play with any designs and just make some fun cards. And of course, if you're an adult and you need inspiration, we can't just come up with things like an 8-year-old kid can. You can go look at simple quilt blocks and find that. So anyway, this is just a story of one of my precious quilts and how it inspires me in life in both paper crafting and quilting. So here's another video connected for you to watch next about quilting and card making. Thanks.